Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Rhodes with Unity Consulting, where we grow people and develop leaders. I'm so excited that you're joining me today. I've got some fun stuff to talk about, fun revelations that are happening within me that I love to challenge other people. I love challenging people's habits because it's all about being more efficient and fully empowered in life. And sometimes it just like does this reversal back to me. And that's exactly what's happened here. So this is what I'm doing. Later today, I'm doing a mastermind on John Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. If you've never read it, you need to read it a few times. It's got some good stuff, and we're talking about the law of awareness later today. So there's a little, it's not even a sentence, it's like a phrase on page 25 of the book, and it says, "You must know yourself to grow yourself." So while I was preparing for the mastermind today, and if you've never been part of a mastermind, you read the chapters of the book before the mastermind meeting, but we are coming together, like minds are coming together to master this content. We're not going to regurgitate what we just read. We're going to think deeper into it. So my job, my goal is to think of more questions and maybe even offer more content that will help just continue to dive a little deeper and fully embrace whatever law we are working on. So I was looking through my notes because I've done this mastermind a few times. I was looking through my notes and I came across some questions that I wrote and I thought, that's good. That's really good. Oh my gosh, I think we're going to start off the mastermind with this. So here's the question. Based off that little phrase on page 25, who are you? And a little more detailed here, what's your name? What's your identity? What's your strengths? And what are you proud of? And then finally, how can you apply that to all areas of your life? So the main question here is who are you? Have you ever thought about who are you? What's your name? That should be easy, right? But what's your identity? What are your strengths? What are you proud of? And how can you apply that to every arena of your life? So as I was preparing for the mastermind, I got all excited because I'm like, oh, this is good. This is getting deep. And then suddenly, I will definitely call it God. He just kind of turned it on me and said, oh, well, what are your answers? And I better be ready for my answers. My goal of a mastermind is not for me to talk besides ask the questions, but many times people do ask me, what about you? Who are you? What are your identities and your strengths and what are you proud of? And wow, I mean, I'm going to spring this on people today and ask them to answer it like within a minute, and I've been pondering it for 2 days. But here's what I've come up with. So I want you to ponder this too. I want you to get your pen out and your paper, and I want you to write down these questions, and I want you to really come up with your answers. So what's my name? My name is Kathy Rhodes. Okay, my given name is Catherine Michelle Rhodes. Well, only my dad calls me that once in a while. Maybe my mom. But otherwise, I'm Kathy Rhodes, right? That's my name. My identity. My identity is I am a modest, authentic, unapologetic child of God. That's my identity. And here's what I mean by it. God gets all the glory for my whole life. Everything that happens to me will happen. It's because of Him and it's His plan. And I fully believe that. There's so many things that have happened in my life that are all because of Him, and they've come out for the good. They've come out to give Him the glory. So I am unapologetic to claim I am a Christian, I serve Jesus Christ, and I'm so thankful that I have a deeper understanding now in my life of who He is. When I talk about being modest, I try to be modest with the words I say, with my attitudes, with what I wear, with the food and drink that I choose to put into my body. In all avenues, and there's scripture to go with it, in everything, in moderation in all things. And I really try to be modest in everything. And then there's the authentic. I remember growing up, and it was when Madonna was getting really big into pop culture. And I could never recognize her. Like if I would have seen her in an airport or on the street, I would have never have known who she really was, because she was so made up. And nowadays, Lady Gaga, same kind of thing, right? They're so made up. Who are they really? You know, I tell this to my daughter all the time when we see people walking by or whatever. I'm like, I can't really see who they are because they're just made up. I mean, we dye different colors. We put the makeup on. We curl. We crimp. We straighten. We cut. But who really are we? What's the authentic person? And I mentioned Lady Gaga earlier. I gotta say, I watched the movie A Star Is Born, and overall, I'm not a fan. I don't like the story. It made me angry. But anyway, that's besides the point. What I did like about the movie is I love Lady Gaga singing. Bradley Cooper didn't do bad, but really it was Lady Gaga. And I loved the scenes in the beginning when Lady Gaga was herself. Her hair was her natural color, at least I think it was. I don't know. But it looked like a natural color. She just wasn't made up. She wasn't, the hair wasn't crazy colors. It was just the authentic her. And I felt like, wow, I can recognize her now. I know what she looks like. I know her, the authentic her. And that's, I'm not a putsy person. I don't do the makeup because it's a lot of work. I used to when I was younger, and then I realized it was like ruining my skin, and that's why I say I'm authentic. You know what? What you see is what you get. This is who I am. And that's definitely what I attract to and connect with in other people. So when it comes to question number 3, what are my strengths? I think my training and my speaking and my coaching abilities is definitely a strength of mine. My speaking abilities, I've always had the gift of gab, but that's definitely a strength. But really, when I narrow it down and really get detailed, it's to simplify. I feel it's my strength to simplify. I just finished a book by Carolyn Leaf, and it's called Switch On Your Brain. Really good book. She relates brain science to Bible, scripture, and how science is proving the Bible. Love that. Anyway, but it was really kind of hard to read at times because she got scientific or medical jargon going on, and with brain science, and she got like different pieces of the brain and the amygdala and whatever, right? I don't even know what the pieces of the brain are, but it was hard to follow because that's just not my specialty. So while I was reading the book, I found myself trying to simplify it, because many times I re-deliver content through trainings, right? So to simplify it, to just make it very easy to understand for anybody to understand. It's brain science, I get it, but we need to adapt it to our lives. We need to relate to it in our lives. So we need to be able to remember it. And I feel like I can do that. I can deliver it in a way that just makes it doable. Question number 4 then says, what are you proud of? And I have accomplishments in life that I'm proud of, but when I really looked at it, the way that I simplify, and I simplify and bring it together, is I'm really proud of my ability to figure things out. I feel like I'm a pretty good problem solver. And this has come into play in my marriage, as a mom, in my career, especially when I was in computer programming. There's a lot of problem solving constantly happening. In my kitchen when I'm cooking. It's a little more challenging for me, but anyway, that mindset, that ability to problem solve, that ability, that desire to figure things out. I think of my grandpa. My grandpa used to tell us stories of when he was the TV fixer guy in the neighborhood. That was when the big old TVs came out, and they had tubes in them, and the tubes would break. Whatever, right? I don't really know what was happening, but the neighbors would bring their broken TVs to him, and he would go in the basement and fix it. And my grandma used to say, "Oh my gosh, he had parts for everything," but he did. He always had the right thing. He was kind of a hoarder for some things, and he had the right tool and the right piece of equipment to fix the TVs. But that was his brain. He was a problem solver. He was a troubleshooter. He troubleshooted his Instacube when he was 94 years old. That's like a photo frame, but it's connected to an Instagram account. And yeah, my grandpa had an Instagram account. We would post pictures there, so he always had current pictures of the grandkids and the great-grandkids and the family, right? And one day I got over there and he said it's broken. I'm like, well, Grandpa, looks like it's working to me. He says, no, they're old pictures. And I kind of watched and I thought, oh yeah, you're right. Those are old pictures. I know that I've posted newer pictures than that. So I did some troubleshooting and I did an update and I said, okay, I think we're good now. And he watched it for a bit and said, no, it's still not fixed. Those are still old. Well, I put more like 30 minutes into it instead of 30 seconds, and I did find there were definitely a few more issues with it. So I continued to troubleshoot it and fix it, and then I got it going again, and finally got his blessing that yes, it was good to go. But so maybe I got this ability from my grandpa. I don't know, but I get it. I get the brain that parts of the brain that are ticking away, trying to troubleshoot and problem solve and figure things out. So the final question is, how can I apply all of this to areas of my life? Well, I give God the glory for everything: my strengths, my successes, my identity, and my choice. Because really, my identity is my choice. Who do I want to be? I mean, there's times I would love to be made up and behind my screen. I guess when I look at people who dress up in costumes, that's kind of what you're doing, right? You're behind that facade, and that I do like to live behind a facade sometimes because life just seems a little easier. But I choose to be authentic. This is who I am. I choose to be modest. I choose to be unapologetic for who I am. Nobody's making me be this way. I'm choosing it. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for choice. I'm thankful for the talents that God has given me, but also the ability that I can grow those talents. So back to page 25. You must know yourself to grow yourself. It's a good book. Highly recommend it. It's not a fast read. It's one of those reads where you kind of dig in and take about a week to answer one of the questions. So how do you know yourself? I give you the challenge. Answer these questions, figure yourself out, and choose who you want to be today. Make it a great day. I can't wait to talk to you again soon.